Decades after World War II, the United States emerged not only as a military superpower, but as the most technologically advanced nation the world had ever seen. American aircraft crossed oceans with unmatched precision, computers processed information faster than any machine before them, and intelligence operations reached places once thought inaccessible. While the world watched American rockets rise into the sky and American technology redefine modern warfare, a silent struggle was unfolding far from public view. A war fought not with bombs or soldiers, but with secrets. At the center of that hidden conflict stood the Central Intelligence Agency, an organization that embodied America's belief that information, innovation, and strategy could shape history itself. Across the Iron Curtain, the Soviet Union watched closely. Soviet leaders understood that American strength did not rely solely on armies or nuclear weapons, but on something far more difficult to replicate: an intelligence system powered by technology, global reach, and unprecedented logistical capability. To counter that advantage, the Kremlin relied on its own formidable instrument, the KGB. What followed was the most intense intelligence rivalry the world has ever known, a contest that would quietly influence wars, topple governments, and determine the balance of power for nearly half a century. The Cold War transformed intelligence into a weapon as decisive as any missile. For the United States, the CIA became the nerve center of global awareness, coordinating operations across continents, mastering complex logistics, and exploiting technological superiority. Founded in 1947, the agency was relatively young compared to its Soviet counterpart, yet it advanced at extraordinary speed. American intelligence officers operated with access to cutting-edge equipment, advanced communications, and a global network of allies that allowed the CIA to project influence far beyond U.S. borders. One of the most remarkable demonstrations of this capability occurred in 1962, in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Deep in the Arctic, American intelligence discovered an abandoned Soviet military installation buried beneath ice and snow. In an operation that combined precise planning, advanced aviation technology, and extreme risk execution, CIA operatives were parachuted into the frozen wasteland. Battling brutal winds and sub-zero temperatures, they recovered massive quantities of classified Soviet documents before being extracted by air. The mission was completed without detection, and the intelligence gained provided invaluable insight into Soviet military capabilities. Even today, the operation is studied as a triumph of American logistics and technological coordination. The CIA's reach extended well beyond espionage into strategic influence. During the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, American intelligence orchestrated one of the most effective covert campaigns of the Cold War. Through training, supply networks, and sophisticated coordination with regional partners, the United States helped turn Afghanistan into a prolonged and costly conflict for Moscow. After a decade of warfare, the Soviet Union withdrew, marking one of the most humiliating strategic defeats in its history. It was a moment the beat. It demonstrated how intelligence, when combined with technology and planning, could alter the course of global power without a direct confrontation between superpowers. Yet intelligence history is never a story of perfection. Despite its strengths, the CIA also suffered miscalculations. It failed to anticipate China's massive intervention during the Korean War and became entangled in political scandals that damaged its credibility. These failures, however, did not diminish the agency's defining strengths: rapid adaptation, technological innovation, and global operational reach. Where the CIA struggled was not in execution, but in countering an adversary whose methods were built on patience rather than speed. The KGB operated under a fundamentally different philosophy. Officially established in 1954, it inherited decades of experience from earlier Soviet intelligence services. Unlike the CIA's emphasis on technology and logistics, the KGB specialized in infiltration, ideological manipulation, and long-term penetration of foreign institutions. Soviet intelligence did not seek quick victories. It sought influence that could last for decades, quietly embedded within governments, media, and academic circles. At its height, the KGB employed hundreds of thousands of personnel and controlled a budget that at times rivaled or exceeded that of the CIA, despite the Soviet Union's weaker economy. Its agents cultivated journalists, recruited officials, and manipulated narratives across the Western world. Disinformation was not an occasional tactic. It was a central strategy. By shaping how societies perceived events, the KGB aimed to weaken its enemies from